is Professor Beeman. Welcome to our course. In this lecture, I'm going to go over a little bit of my background and orient you to the course. There are some files to accompany this lecture in the About Professor Beeman folder and also the Week 1 folder. So let me introduce myself to you. I've been teaching for about 20 years, and 10 of those years have been spent in CUNY. I did my master's work in Pennsylvania and my doctoral work at the University of Connecticut. And there I taught in women's studies and sociology for about 8 years. I taught women's health, women and violence. I taught the race and racism course there, race and ethnic relations. I also taught social problems. I taught at College of Staten Island for a semester, urban sociology. And I taught at BMCC, Borough of Manhattan College, for about 2 years. So I've had the good fortune to teach in a lot of different kinds of settings, and I've taught lots of different topics. Here at Baruch, I'm also this semester teaching the Race and Ethnic Relations course, and I also teach the Sociological Theory course, the capstone course. And I've also taught Peopling of New York here at Baruch. I'm a specialist in racism theory, intersectionality, intersectional studies, and gender and social movements. But I've also published in film analysis, and domestic violence. This past summer, I published an article for the Harvard Business Review, and I also have another piece in HBR coming out in November, December. I've also done a number of media appearances, one for C-SPAN's Washington Journal. There I was discussing my expertise on race and racism, and that was for the 1-year anniversary of the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville and the aftermath of that. I've given several talks at the Strand Bookstore and other places. I'm currently writing a book on liberal ideology and current political divides, and I gave a talk on this over the summer at the Strand, or part of Thinkolio. It's a New York-based organization. And finally, I'm on a number of editorial boards, Critical Sociology and the Journal of Social Justice. I serve as an associate editor there, and I'm a reviewer for several other journals, and I'll talk a little bit about what is involved in that process this semester when we cover research methods. My partner is also a professor in the College of Staten Island, and he was also was an associate producer and reporter for ABC News. He's probably most known for his investigation of Jeffrey Epstein. And so he's reported on that and discussed that on shows like AM Joy, 2020, and Investigation Discovery. And I also have 2 children, Justice and Hope, who are ages 14 and 9. So what I want to do now is go over Blackboard. So I'm going to share my screen with you. So this is what our homepage looks like for our course. Here you can read the course description. This is also on your syllabus. The most important tabs here are the announcements, the syllabus and course calendar, and the weekly materials. So if you go to weekly materials, you'll see week 1, everything that you need that is due within the first week, you can find here. So you can find those folders, my introduction to you, the syllabus and course calendar, the readings for a Collaborate session when we'll meet, quote unquote, face-to-face in Blackboard Collaborate, the syllabus quiz and introduction. So I introduced myself to you. Now I'd like to know a little bit about you. So this introduction assignment is just a short, brief description of yourself. It's a way for me to get to know you, but also a way for you to accumulate a few points right off the bat. The syllabus quiz, also an easy way for you to accumulate points, and it's also a way for us to make sure that we're both on the same page and that you know what is required of the course, that you read the syllabus and course calendar, and you have all the details there. The syllabus quiz is the only quiz that you can take twice. All other quizzes you can only take once, and there are no exceptions to that. So I won't reopen quizzes for you to retake them if you made a mistake or you take it and you're like, oh, I knew the answer. Can I retake the quiz? No, but I do provide a 1 extra credit quiz towards later in the semester, and that is to account for those life happens moments. We all have them, professors have them, students have them. We make mistakes, we completely forget to do an assignment, or we have those moments where we click on the wrong answers, or we feel that we knew the answers. So that's what the extra credit quiz is for. Don't rely on it to perform some miracle at the end of the semester, but it is there for you should you need some extra points. So the syllabus is very important. The course calendar is very important. If you click here, you'll find the syllabus. There's a description here that you can read over, the important course information. This is an important document because it lists what's expected of you, how your grade is calculated. If you have any questions throughout the course, you can always consult your syllabus for answers. This is the contract between us, right? The syllabus is a contract. Make sure you read over some of the, not just the outcomes and the objectives, the learning outcomes. The course requirements are here, the course expectations. But I also have some information here, a note on quality participation. There is a syllabus quiz question about this. Some advice on how to approach the readings, approach the class with a positive attitude with an eye towards what you can learn. Right, so focus on what you learn from these readings. I have some ideas here on how to read by making sure you see the forest for the trees. In other words, to try to understand the big ideas the author discusses, the forest, rather than getting stuck on one or two points that you are having difficulty understanding the trees. Do, however, understand that those smaller points relate to the larger ideas. So which trees, concepts, or references are important to building the forest, the main idea, and which trees are just a beautiful distraction from the main point? It takes practice to do this, to be able to recognize those differences, and some readings are going to require more effort than others. So keep that in mind. I'll also share with you that the problem with studying society is that people tend to think that they already know what it's about because we all live in society. I want to share a quote with you that will come back later this semester in one of the last readings that we do, the very last reading, as a matter of fact, by Alan Johnson. He states, quote, "Understanding how privilege and oppression operate and how you participate in them is where the work for change begins. It's easy to have opinions, but it takes work to know what you're talking about. Just as you'd need to read about a foreign country before you traveled there for the first time, or about a car before you try to work under the hood. Many people assume they already know what they need to know because it's part of everyday life, but they're usually wrong. Just as the last thing a fish would discover is water, the last thing people discover is society itself, and something as pervasive as the dynamics of privilege." So keep that in mind, that society is like water to a fish. It's not something that we naturally analyze. It is something that takes effort. So please take a look at the syllabus, read over all of this. The information you need for the semester is all there. I've matched, and I point this out in the syllabus, that I've taken great pains to make everything organized. I think that one of the best things that a professor can do is to make sure expectations are clear, so that at least that it helps to minimize anxiety, so that you know what's due and when it's due. So I've matched everything up here in Blackboard, and this has taken a great deal of time to do this. If you go to the course calendar, all of those images should match what's here, and that's just to help you to reduce that anxiety, to make sure everything is clear and you know what is expected so that you're not guessing. So again, go to week 1, all of the materials and what's due you can find there. It's the same for week 2, week 3, all the way down to our last week. The discussion board is here. And you'll find links to those in the weekly folders as well. Okay, so I look forward to meeting you on our face-to-face, quote, face-to-face meeting when we meet in Blackboard Collaborate.